very much. So I will invite our next submitter to the table. So Lovell-Smith. Dot, thank you for joining us. Good to have you with us. That's it?
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Kia ora, everyone. My name is Lovell-Smith and I live in Hay, near Hornby, a place that most people seem to forget exists. And I'm here to talk about water and the water rates plan. I don't approve of it at all. There's two main reasons I don't approve of it. One is to do with equity and one is to do with climate change. I can't understand why they want to give allowances based on the rateable value of a property, because it makes no sense, basically, unless the people who have flash houses and flash suburbs want to hose down their patios more than the people who live in more scruffy suburbs. It's really unequal. I also think that the whole idea of water, the water as its plan and use as it's put in this little booklet, is quite confusing, because it sort of implies that people who use a lot of water are wasting it, and that's a problem. But it doesn't take into account, it doesn't mention the fact that there's no water shortage, but what is at issue is the supply of the water, and that puts pressure on the City Council. And I think that sort of point needs to be made more clear in all the discussions about water that the Council has. The other point I'd like to make as well, I'm a very keen gardener. I've got a 1/4 acre section, and if you know Hay, which probably most of you don't, it's built on very, very stony, shingly soil, basically. It's where the Waimakariri River ran out to Lake Ellesmere many millions of years ago. So I use an awful lot of water, and I've been concerned about this water ever since I started gardening there. And so I've put in place lots of things like, mulch. I spend money on pea straw to mulch it. I use virtually none of my green stuff goes off the property. It all goes into mulch under trees and shrubs. And I've turned a bare empty section into a place with fruit trees, vegetables, and lots of natives, tussocks and things to support the life of birds and insects. I was curious about how much water I used, so I rang up the water people here the other day and asked them, and yes, I use a lot of water. I would come close to being penalised for this by being charged for water. And I just think that this is not in the sort of, well, it's not in the principles of equity and climate change that I think the council should espouse. I feel it's very essential that I keep the trees and the shrubs on my section growing. So in this last 8 months, when we've had virtually no rain, I have in fact watered them. I don't water my lawn. My lawn is a desert. I very rarely water my flower beds, and over the years I've lived there, my flower beds have shrunk smaller and smaller, and I've concentrated on the plants that can just live through a drought.
So that brings us to the end of the 3 minutes set aside for your submission, unfortunately.
Can I keep going? No.
No, and your point is well made, and it's a point that others have picked up on as well. So we've raised this as a question in the consultation document. We're aware of the different views that have been expressed, and your submission certainly adds to
Can I
that.
just add one little thing? I mean, I do think that the difference in soil types in Christchurch should be recognised. That, somebody could have a garden my size in Papanui and not use much water, whereas, for me to keep my vegetables growing, I need a lot.
I've got a quick question.
All right. We don't have time. We don't have time for a question, unfortunately. All right.
What Hay stands for?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.